come January. But Nina Mishkov, you think this is a great thing, that Prince Harry wants to damage King Charles before his coronation?
I don't think it's necessarily a situation of Harry wanting to damage Prince Charles before his coronation. Harry has every right to tell his story. He has been absolutely castigated in the media for the last 2 or 3 years. He has every right to say what he thinks. And I don't know what the royal family are worried about. I mean, are they more worried about fact or fiction? Fact from Harry or fiction from the Crown? I mean, in the Crown, there's this episode where Charles is supposed to be asking for his mother to abdicate, which we absolutely know, according to John Major, is not a fact. Now, are they more worried about that or what potentially Harry is going to say? And, you know, all this fuss, his mother did it. His mother cooperated with Andrew Morton, Diana, My True Story, and then gave that bombshell interview. And his father gave the interview to Jonathan Dimbleby and confessed on television to adultery, for heaven's sake. And at the same time, he cooperated with Jonathan Dimbleby on that memoir. And the memoir, he castigated his own parents, the Queen and particularly the Duke of Edinburgh. So all this speculation of what Harry might or might not do has all been done before by both parents, by King Charles.
Tom Bower, how do you respond to that?
Well, I think the only reason that Harry has been castigated, as you say, over the last 2 years is because of his conduct. He behaved like a traitor, terribly disloyal to the royal family, and dumped on them. Well, of course he was.
He was dumped by the royal family.
Whatsoever. The other point is that Diana's cooperation with Morton was directed only at Prince Charles, as he then was, not against the whole royal family. She was rightly wounded. She never criticised the Queen.
No, exactly. She never tried to bring down the royal family, Nina, and I think that's what Harry is trying to do now. I'm going to be honest about this, Nina. Nina, just let me make this point, and then you can respond. I genuinely now believe that Prince Harry wants to bring down the monarchy.
I think that's a completely ludicrous situation. And Harry has never, ever criticised the Queen. He has never criticised the Duke of Edinburgh.
He's criticising
He
her
adores the
work.
Queen. He's never criticised the Queen at all.
He did. He did. And he criticised her upbringing of his father. He said quite specifically in the opera interview.
He was only quoting.
Nina, let Tom finish.
He said quite explicitly into opera that he was brought up in a bad way by Charles, but then all Charles was doing was treating him the same way as his mother had treated Charles. And I think he waited for the Queen to die so he could put that whole story into greater context.
I want to bring Lady C on this, Nina.
Nina, I just want upbringing.
Yeah, Nina, I just want to bring Lady C in because the point is, surely, Lady C, him and Meghan can try and say, oh, we're not ever criticising the Queen. I'm sorry, they're criticising the Queen's life's work by dumping on the monarchy. It is entirely a criticism of the late Queen.
Let's talk about the royal elephant in the room, Prince Harry's memoir, Spare. Some people call it brave, others call it betrayal. But now, experts are asking a more serious question. Did Harry actually put his family's safety at risk? We're not just talking about emotional damage anymore. According to panelists on The Clash, the details Harry reveals, security protocols, royal routines, and personal info, could be exploited. And in today's climate, that's not a small thing. One panelist straight up called Harry's memoir irresponsible. They argue that even if he wanted to tell his truth, sharing internal royal conflicts and security patterns crosses a dangerous line, especially when you're one of the most recognizable families in the world. Here's the contradiction. Harry says he wants to protect his family, but critics say his actions are doing the opposite. Can both be true? Or is this a classic case of noble intent with reckless delivery? The royal family's reaction? Crickets. But behind the scenes, it's been reported they're furious, and that security strategies have had to change post-publication. That's no small matter.
they haven't only been criticising the Queen overtly, they have been criticising the Queen, the monarchy and the British people covertly. And, you know, I mean, with due respect to Mr. Bower, with whom I agree, and Miss Miska, with whom I sort of agree, I mean, I'm the only person who's written books on both sets of people, and Diana cooperated with me as well. So I think that Diana's disloyalty was a lot more measured and a lot more covert and a lot more focused just on Charles. But Diana was perfectly happy to trash the institution of the monarchy as if she felt she could damage the Prince of Wales as he then was. And Harry, to a certain extent, has replicated a lot of her conduct. And I'm sorry, I think the whole thing's absolutely appalling. Disloyalty has no place in family life, either privately or publicly.
No, I agree with that. Tom Bower, you believe that actually all of this speculation that the book might have been toned down somewhat could end up to prove to be untrue, because your point is that he's been paid £20 million for this book, and sure, he's donating 1.5 million or whatever it is to charity, but fundamentally, this is a huge money-making mission for him, and for Penguin Random House to make their money from that book, they're going to need his poisoned pen.
Well, absolutely, and in any case, he's not going to row back. And more importantly, will Meghan row back? Because I'm sure she's gone through the script much more carefully than Harry, if he's even bothered to read his own book. But Meghan certainly has. But they can't row back from all the 17 inaccuracies and lies they told to Opera. So they can only add to them. And that must mean more and more poison. And in the end, this is their revenge. This is what they've been waiting for. They've got Netflix, they've got the book, they'll have interviews all over the world. They will be the #1 trending couple in the world for several days, and they're going to capitalize on it. And of course they're going to put poison. The publishers wouldn't allow anything else.
I'd like to point out to Tom, just to go back to a point he made, that how Harry was supposed to be trashing the royal family and criticising the Queen by the way she brought up Charles. He was merely quoting his father, and the reason he was quoting his father was saying he was trying to break the cycle. The Queen, Charles, him, and the way they treated their children.
But it's still a criticism of the Queen.
I'd like to point out to Tom two things. One, for some man who was so keen on facts and desperate to trash Harry, it's Oprah, not opera. And I think you should actually have caught on to that by this art. She's been on television for decades. And the other things I'd like to point out is that you also have a book out about Harry and Meghan called Revenge.
Yes, it's brilliant.
I think you should own up that you are trying to sell your book. So you have a dog in the race. It's in your interest to create.
Well, Tom's been on this show talking about his book. I mean, I think his book is absolutely brilliant and is probably, and Tom, you'll probably like me say this, but I think it will probably end up being far more factual than what we're going to read in Spare.
And remember, taxpayers fund royal protection. This isn't just a private squabble, it has public stakes. Let's be real, Harry's approval has plummeted since Spare. The more he reveals, the less people trust his motives. Is it about healing, or just headlines? And if it's both, can you still claim moral high ground while cashing checks from Netflix and publishers? Here's the question you need to answer. At what point does telling your story become dangerous? Was Harry justified in going public, or did he trade safety for sales? Because whether you love him or hate him, one thing's clear. Spare didn't just burn bridges, it lit a spotlight. And sometimes that light blinds you to the damage left behind. That's it for today's breakdown. What do you think? Was Harry brave or reckless with Spare? Drop your take in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more unfiltered commentary. This royal drama is just getting started.